The NBA trade deadline is finally over. I'm recording this about like an hour after the deadline ended, so you guys can get my immediate sort of thoughts and reactions to all the trades I didn't necessarily cover in the videos. So I went ahead, I tried my best to grade every single team in the league, barring like 6 or 7 teams. And it's only because those teams, 4 of them didn't make any moves. And one of them did get graded for not making any moves, by the way. And then some of them who did, it was like, okay, they're like salary dumping. They're taking on extra picks. It's whatever. Like, they're not really doing anything where I can negatively or positively attribute them for anything. So, let's get right into it. The winners of this trade deadline are the Los Angeles Lakers. They got an A+++++. They got Mark Williams, who I made a video on this channel before. I like Mark Williams a lot, and I think he could really develop to be their center of the future, as long as he stays healthy, of course. So that's the big if, right? And that makes you question a little bit from the Hornets of like, you're rebuilding almost within a rebuild. Like, you have a young talent, you started to see him grow and develop, and you then get rid of the young talent for more first-round picks. At what point are you ever going to have a core that you're legitimately comfortable with and can move forward with? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, for me, the Lakers get an A++. They got Luka. You got a 25-year-old star. And, I mean, you got Mark Williams now. So, you have some semblance of a legitimate future. Now, you give up all those picks, sure, but those might not be as good. Because when Luka re-signs, it's like that might be picked 20 to 30. That might not really do nothing. The other team I gave an A, the San Antonio Spurs. You were able to acquire De'Aaron Fox without giving up Stephon Castle. You didn't have to give up just about anybody, really. You gave up 2 picks, or you gave up 5 picks. 2 firsts, right? Because the reason I say 5 is, yes, they technically got 3, but that Hornets pick is going to not convey. So that's 3 seconds. And then they gave up 2 first-round picks. You still got Castle. You still have Sochan. You still got a lot of your picks. You have all of Atlanta's picks. They get an A. Like, what they did here to help build around Wemby, nothing short of absolutely remarkable. Then, I had to grade the Washington Wizards to get a B+. The Wizards ultimately ended up with 3 first-rounders. I want you to remember, by the way, some of the guys they got first-rounders for. They ended up picking up Chris Middleton, right? You got Jared Butler. I want you to stop and think about that. You gave up Jared Butler, and you received a first-round pick. Yeah. Automatic W for the Wizards. And they got my boy Colby Jones, Xavier Legend. If you guys know, you know. Wizards fans around the world, you guys are winners of a trade deadline. Congratulations. I'm so happy for y'all, man. Y'all really did it. The very next team I got the exact same score for, but for a different reason, the Cleveland Cavaliers. You went ahead and you got DeAndre Hunter basically for nothing. You gave up Karis LeVert, right? You gave up, I don't even remember what else they gave up. I think they gave up Niang in like 2 seconds. And you gave them DeAndre Hunter. That's huge for the Cavs. Like, that's a huge, huge, huge W if you're the Cavaliers. I think that's an excellent trade, right? Because they finally have a legitimate wing. You still have a core that could come off the bench. You still got other guys around you. This team, they're for real. They're trying to tap in on this right now and capitalizing on the right now. Now we get to the B's, B minuses, stuff like that. The first team I'm giving a B is the Sacramento Kings. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Emster, they didn't, they gave up a lot. They didn't get really enough back for Fox. Well, here's the thing, right? So if we go off all the Kings-related players that they got, you got Zach LaVine, you got Jonas Valanciunas, you had Jake LaRavia, all of whom I like as pickups. I think you got a backup big now for Sabonis. You've got, you still got the guys like, Trey Lyles and all that. I think what they were ended up being able to do in spite of basically minding you, Fox basically asking out within the last 2 weeks before the trade deadline, I think this Kings team did the best they could to retool with what they had. I can't really grade them lower. I think it'd be disingenuous. And then the Miami Heat. I gave the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors the same grade, basically. A B minus, C plus ish range. Again, right? Jimmy's a Warrior, and that's fantastic. Wiggins is now a Heat. You got 1 first round pick from it, which is protected, but still, odds are they'll be good enough that pick will, they'll just get the pick this year. But again, the only reason I didn't grade this trade as highly is both teams, you could tell, just wanted to do something. The Heat didn't want to keep Jimmy and all the nonsense he was causing around. And the Warriors didn't want to they wanted to be able to say, we tried something for Curry in the last 2 years of his career. Last few years. We're not going to be told we didn't try anything. We did. And I think that you could see it on both sides, the desperation, to where I do like it for the Heat a little bit more than the Warriors because they ended up with someone like Wiggins, because you still got a first round pick, because you were then able to, move Schroeder around and all that. But again, I think they're not losers, but it's like, The weirdest B minus club I've got in here are the Toronto Raptors. This trade to me was very odd. You gave up Bruce Brown, you gave him Kelly Olynyk, you got Brandon Ingram. And someone on Twitter, I think, said it perfectly. They are a super play-in team. I don't think this team is good enough to compete for nothing if they got to the playoffs. I don't think this team is going to get someone in free agency that's going to take them over the top. And, oh my God, are they like a new, young and rising stud of a team? No. I think at the end of the day, this team is good. No doubt. I don't think they're anything of note, if that makes sense. I'm not going to go out of the way to say that I don't like this trade in general. I don't get why the Raptors made this trade. This just felt like to do it. The Clippers, I gave a C. I do like the fact that you basically got Bogdanovich for nothing. So even now I can retrospectively just say, you know what? They got a B minus. You got rid of Terrence Mann. You got rid of some of these other dudes. But you also picked out someone really nice in Bogdanovich, which I think is kind of nice. The Bucks, I gave a C minus. You got Kevin Porter Jr. Okay, I don't know if he's really going to get any burn, but cool. You got rid of Beauchamp. You got rid of Middleton, right? But the reason I gave him a C was that ultimately, at least you're under the second apron. So now, if Giannis does need to get moved or Dame needs to get moved, if something needs to happen for this team, you now have far more flexibility in doing so. I think Kuzma's going to be better than a lot of people have said. Now, I don't think he's better than Middleton, but I think that Kuzma now is a legit established, you're our third guy, now move. I think he could look a lot better in that role than having to look like a number 1 to 2 option on every single night. The Sixers, D minus. Why are you giving up first round picks for Jared Butler? What are you doing? Dallas, you got AD. Yep. That's it. 80. I'm not even going to waste the time on what I think is one of the dumbest trades in NBA history. The Hornets get a D+. But Emster, they got 2 first-round picks. You're already rebuilding, bro. Now you're trading your young pieces in your rebuild for not as valuable picks. Because now Luka Doncic is there, and they're going to re-sign him, and he's going to win you enough games to where you're not going to be in that low of a pick. So what are you doing? Why are you rebuilding in a rebuild? That makes no damn sense. Then, I've got the Brooklyn Nets at a D+. Why? Because I think they should have moved off of Cam Johnson. I don't know what ridiculous asking price they had for him, but he should have been gone. You would have been able to get some firsts for him. Again, Jared Butler got a first. If you just brought it down to like 2 firsts, some team would have done it. I then had the Grizzlies at a D. They just salary dumped a bunch of people. They gave up a first-round pick to the Wizards to get rid of Marcus Smart. Unless in this coming free agency they sign someone huge, right now it's looking a little suspect, and I can't go off of speculation. The Chicago Bulls get a D-. The reason they avoided the F, they avoided my wrath and my anger. At least we got our own first-round pick this year, and we don't have to worry about next year's pick being unprotected, and at that point, our tank is just absolutely cooked. So, you guys are one of the 3, you guys avoided being one of 4 teams to get an F. The first team I'm going to talk about that gets an F, the Orlando Magic. How are you one of the 4 teams that didn't make a move at the trade deadline? Your offense stinks. You guys weren't able to try and get, for example, the Bulls. You guys couldn't get Kobe White. You guys couldn't try and get Vooch. You guys couldn't try and get Brandon Ingram. If that's what Brandon Ingram asked for, you couldn't try and do that. You basically stood pat with the team that is 29th in offense and 3rd in defense, which the defense, awesome. You guys have to generate buckets to win games, though. So you guys, they get an F for me, sadly. The Hawks, F. They just handed away any and every asset they had for pennies on the dollar. I don't know what they thought they were doing, but that was stupid. The Pelicans get an F too. This whole BI and Zion experiment blew up in their face. And again, just to remind you, the Knicks, the Celtics, the Pacers, the Pistons, the Nuggets, the Wolves, the Blazers, and Utah all get cool. I don't really want to grade them because they didn't do anything to really get worse. They didn't really do anything to get better. I'm not going to waste time going, oh, but they're all C's. They're just cool. You're basically abstained from my thing. But let me know what you guys think. Who were the winners? Who were the losers? What do we think is going to happen now? As always, guys, this was Mr. No Soups. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.